blacksmith didn't disappear with a horse and buggy. He is active still, forming the contemporary setting as the smithy of old shaped an earlier day. These Americans at work are known now as ornamental iron workers, men who twist and turn, cut and weld the metals that give form and strength to designers' ideas. Some of the things these men build you can see and appreciate. Fancy grill work and gates, functional buildings of aluminum and glass, and modern variations of old designs. Other things you may never see or notice if they are visible at all. Door and window frames, staircases, and structural supports are but a few of the metal products fabricated and installed by these hand craftsmen. High-speed hand saws cut the steel to the exact length preset by the operator. With the aid of powerful machines to cut, shape, and join the metals, the ornamental ironworker applies craftsmanship to every project. With a great variety of necessary and desirable metal products, the true assembly line is seldom found in the shops where they work. Every kind of metal finds its way into the ironworker's hands today. Steel, aluminum, copper, bronze, brass, and the alloys have qualities that lend themselves to the custom shaping of ornamental and structural parts. The use of custom-made wrought iron trims was established long ago as a way to give individual character to homes and commercial buildings. Fine examples of early work are still to be seen in the French-inspired architecture of New Orleans, and modern versions are made today with the same skill and individual attention. The men who build these steel stairways are as near to a production line as most ornamental iron workers ever come. Every operation, though, is performed by hand. The use of welded steel stairways in multi-story buildings has increased the demand for the ironworker's skill in assembly and installation. The platform landings are constructed of individual channels bound by a steel frame. The two basic operations in working with metal are cutting and joining. The welder sends sparks flying, leaving a solid, unbreakable union. There is no way to estimate the value of the work performed by the men who shape metal. We can only speculate on the consequences of having no skilled people to manipulate the materials that support and embellish our buildings. A simple mark with a piece of chalk, a well-controlled touch with a welding rod mean that the parts will be put in the right place and will remain there. The electric welder not only gives what is perhaps the strongest joint, it is simple to operate. Using it correctly is the skill job, and it is something every iron worker must learn. The structural iron worker is a man of above average physical condition and strength. He has to be, because he must move heavy sections as easily as he builds them. Young men interested in working at this skilled building trade will find ample opportunity to learn and advance. The fast-growing rate of new construction and the solid working relations between the International Association of Bridge and Structural Iron Workers and their employers mean rewarding jobs and good working conditions. As our cities and towns continue to expand and older areas are revitalized, the need for the iron workers' special abilities increases. The welder is symbolic of these union workers. The strength he gives his product is similar to the bond between labor and management. Even though the electric hoist is far removed from the centuries-old block and tackle, it is never out of reach of a worker's guiding hands. As the lower set of steps is moved into place, the staircase begins to get off the ground. The pre-erected stair is becoming a familiar part of buildings designed to serve the needs of our expanding population. A completed stair assembly, painted and ready to be installed, is moved to the stockpile. Soon, these will be moved to job sites where they will become part of the permanent structure. In schools, they will support students moving to and from classes. In a hospital, doctors and nurses will use them to carry out their rounds. Salesmen may climb them in office buildings, and apartment dwellers will tread them when they leave and return home. Their use is unlimited, and their lifespan almost unmeasurable. Not all iron workers enjoy the comfort of working indoors. Many are at work installing the products their indoor counterparts build. Here, they do their work as weather permits. Aluminum is one of the newer metals used by the ornamental worker. Architects and builders specify it to brighten their creations. To the fabricator, it is quite different from the metals he has been accustomed to using. It is light, easy to work, and lends itself well to modern design. Aluminum, as it comes from the mill, does not have the wear characteristic necessary to maintain its appearance under constant exposure to the elements. Initially, it is a soft metal, easily scratched and subject to discoloration. One of the new tasks of the ornamental iron worker is to treat aluminum. In these tanks, the surface of the metal is etched to prepare it for finishing. The man controlling the process treats the individual pieces according to their different characteristics. He determines the depth of the etch by the length of time he allows the aluminum to remain in each tank. The first tank contains a caustic solution, which actually etches the material. In the next tank, the pieces are rinsed in water, then dipped in acid, and finally washed again. Color can be permanently added to the aluminum finish by anodizing. In the electrolytic painting process, the metal receives a hard glass-like finish. So far, this is the only reliable method of converting silver to gold. And at that, it is only a change of color. Each of the long tables in an ornamental shop is, in effect, a complete custom fabrication department. One or two men work together from first layout to final trimming. Balcony railings of aluminum and wire mesh are popular handmade products because they combine high style and privacy in one lightweight unit. Frames for windows and decorative walls are another custom item. The worker may build 1 or 100, and each will fit perfectly. Every detail is checked and rechecked before final assembly. The nature of metals does not allow them to be stretched or compressed to size. Once a piece is cut, it is permanent. Aluminum is bringing a bright new face to our buildings. Every year, young men are learning the skills required to work as journeymen. In training courses sponsored jointly by the union and employers, and in on-the-job training, apprentices devote thousands of hours to learn the fundamentals of their trade. The tools they use are similar to those found in many home workshops. Hand tools are the backbone of this craft. The apprentice learns how to handle and care for the tools he uses. The instructor describes, then demonstrates. These everyday tools will perform the shaping and cutting operations that are basic forming methods, but only if handled correctly. Each student demonstrates his ability under the watchful eyes of the instructor, always ready to suggest a better or easier way. The journeyman, having completed his training, proudly holds his diploma out as a goal for the aspiring apprentice. Although the modern ironworker uses new tools and new methods, his relationship to the blacksmith still remains. In fact, some jobs still require the service of forge and anvil. Custom-made trellis and grillwork is still formed by hand. Graceful scrolls show the quality of handwork as the smithy gently bends the iron bar from straight to curved. When the work is finished, it will enhance someone's home, adding that final touch of good design. Time, though, and the demands of builders for greater quantities are relegating the bellows and hammer to the small one-time jobs. Fortunately, this has not led to a loss of quality. The members of the International Association of Bridge and Structural Iron Workers, Afl-Cio, work constantly to make the best possible products, using all their skill and craftsman's appreciation in their job. Americans at work for you. Americans at Work, presented as a public service by the Afl-Cio. Next week, another story of Americans at work. Americans whose skill and effort help keep our country great and strong.